Welcome to KOIN Conversations. I'm Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart, and we are in the thick of the winter season. February, typically one of our darkest times of the year. You can see that lookout over downtown Portland. The city light's always a welcome sight, especially as the gray and gloomy conditions once again return to the Pacific Northwest, and we're really in the thick of it. December, January, February, and even into March, we see some of the darkest skies that we see all year long. No thanks to the winter season, although there is a very small glimmer of hope for us, especially as we start to work our way back into the month of February. Portland, on average, gains just about 80 minutes worth of daylight, and that's with the later sunsets and earlier sunrises. But hey, we don't really start to feel that impact until we're well into the spring season, which is still a few months off. So we have to find a light source in some other form. Thankfully, there is a fantastic event right here in the Rose City that does just that. I am talking about the Portland Winter Light Festival. Yes, it is returning once again, over a decade long, and I have a very special guest that I would like to bring in. This is Alisha Sullivan. Alisha, you got to tell me, how did all of this come to be?
It really came from a number of volunteers and dreamers. The idea to start the Light Festival was really plucked from the zeitgeist many years ago by members of our board on the Willamette Light Brigade and members of the artistic community here. I started 3 years after it had already been going on, so I can't take credit for starting it, but it's really modeled after some of the larger light festivals in Europe. And folks had traveled to see those things and wanted to bring it here. And like you said, February really needs some light and fun.
That it does. And I'm a little biased here. I'm so excited that I get to talk to you because this is one of my all-time favorite events that I go to every single year in Portland. I talk about it on KOIN 6 News. I give the forecast pretty much for myself because I'm always so excited about it. But tell me, each year you guys do a little bit of a different theme. What are you guys thinking of as the theme for this year, 2026?
Well, this year the theme is all the little things. So we're thinking about how it's really the small things that make up the whole, how, small things coming together can have an impact that's much larger when we all work together. And I think it's a good metaphor for Portland and for our kind of world right now, our community here. So artists will reflect on that theme in ways that they are inspired to.
And tell me a little bit about all of these art installations, the performers. Where are you guys finding them? How are they all coming together? Talk me through that entire process.
Yeah, so it is a big process. We do a call for art and performance in the summer. So if you're thinking about making a light art piece, Josh, you'll want to start designing it now so that you're ready in the summer. We do a big call to communities. Folks, on our team will go to other festivals and meet artists and look at things as well. But artists generally apply to be part of the festival. Or we invite them sometimes, but often they apply and they say, hey, I want to make this thing. This is my idea. Or I have this piece that I already showed at this other festival. Can I bring it to yours? It's a really fun process. And right now they're, in the studio, they're making things and they're making sure it works. And, so it's all set up. They promised they'd be here in February and it's going to happen.
It's going to happen to shed light on so many. And this is kind of a 2-weekend event. Talk to me about the timeline, when people can start planning, maybe if they are living in the southern Willamette Valley and they want to travel up to Portland. What is the best time for them to kind of plan out their trip to see the event?
Yeah, so it is a great time to visit Portland, actually. There is a lot going on in town, and the event will take place mostly centered around the weekends of the 6th and 7th in February and the 13th and 14th. So, people could come up and stay. I cannot imagine a better date night for Valentine's Day than go get some food and walk around downtown. It's a really fun experience.
For someone who maybe has never been to the Portland Winter Light Festival and I suggest that they do. That's coming from me. What are some of the hot spots? I know that you guys have some of your anchor spots, but then it's a broader umbrella just from that.
Yeah, so we have major anchor sites, which we call our anchor sites. And those are these big sites with large sculptures, with performances. And those are taking place at Pioneer Courthouse Square, the World Trade Center, and the Electric Blocks in Inner Southeast on 2nd and Clay. We'll also have major activations at Waterfront Park near Salmon Springs Fountain. We'll have large art installations at Director Park as well. There's going to be some really cool installations at PSU and then in Ankeny Alley as well. So those big pieces are kind of distributed through the central city, and then interspersed with that, we have pop-up art in various windows. So hotel lobbies, empty retail spaces, active retail spaces, like just kind of a web of art to explore and look around in windows while you wander from site to site.
And I know that I've seen some of the art installations kind of bleed over even into the summer months, and even seen a few of them up last year's sets today. And I feel like it's doing a really great job of bringing light and life back to maybe some of the empty spaces here in Portland, and making people stop and think and maybe picture themselves or their own art piece as a part of Portland as well. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship that it means for you and your team to kind of reflect on Portland as a whole.
Yeah, we're all artists and creatives. And I think as a group, we really believe that art has a role to play in our city now and in the future. And that it can be a tool for transformation. It's really interesting to see a space. Maybe it's, a dumpy parking lot that you walk by every day, transformed by art and creativity and full of people. And I think that that's really a big driver for us. I think that play and fun and levity is really important. And these types of experiences, especially the interactive art and the things that are really designed to be playful, they really have an impact on people. And so it's exciting, and we're really interested in moving people around downtown. Like what does happen if we walk all over our city and we explore and we're on like an art scavenger hunt? That's our goal, is not that people just come down, see the thing, and then get in their car and go home. We want people to come down and wander and feel the city kind of in a different way.
And I feel like not only does it bring light to the city, but it brings life overall, because every year I have been out, and I think this will maybe be my fourth time exploring since I've lived here in Oregon, and just the life that it brings to the city. There's so many people, not only at those anchor spots, but like you mentioned, people are exploring. And, my husband and I, we stopped at a few spots and we're like, hey, I didn't know that a Chinese restaurant was here. And it was a little bit later at night. They were still open, so we swung by. So I'm sure that the community, the business owners here, appreciate this event equally as much as you all do putting it together.
Yeah, we hear from businesses all the time that they love having people out. And it is fun and really meaningful to explore and kind of see things somehow from this different lens. Being out at night, being out with a lot of families and people filling the streets, just, looking in the windows and saying, just like you said, like, oh, there's a restaurant there. Wow, cool. I'll go check it out, and then come back another time or circle back that evening.
And I got to say, each year, last year was a big one for you guys because you celebrated a full decade. Now, year 11, I feel like, again, just my short term of 3 years or so, each year it has gotten bigger and better and more exciting. Talk to me about the growth that you've been able to witness and how many artists typically get involved.
Yeah, it's really grown exponentially. Through COVID, we made kind of a strategic move to center ourselves in the downtown area, just to have more access, to all the things. And so since then, it's really grown in popularity. And of course, if it's a nice weather year, the attendance is through the roof. But it's just something that's grown in trajectory and scale, and it's been really lovely to witness. and be part of.
with your team, I know that you guys are always kind of looking for volunteers because it's not easy to put this event on. Talk to me about how people can get involved in that aspect if they feel like, I'm not an artist, but I'm an artist at heart and I want to take part, but how can they get involved?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many ways to get involved. And to answer your last question, last year we had around 500 artists and artist teams involved, like individuals. So it's a lot of people, but we do need a lot of volunteers. There are lots of volunteer jobs that are really fun. There's opportunities for corporate groups, for individuals. Teenage groups often volunteer as well. People wanting some, time doing community service and like connecting. So you can sign up to volunteer. There's all sorts of fun things. And it really does take a lot of people coming together, willing to be outside in the cold a little bit, to make it happen.
Talk to me a little bit about, seeing some of the video here. It appears to be dance parties. Talk to me about how that has kind of evolved as well.
Yeah, so we actually spend a lot of time kind of curating the vibe or the experience of certain sites. Down Pioneer Square is always it's always kind of chill, but fun and exciting. We often have a little dance party at the Trade Center. Electric Blocks has a silent disco every year, so people really love that. This year we have our Glow Bar coming back as well, and that's our art bar. So we like to make sure that there's a soundscape and music. We collaborate with the Blues Festival. This year we're also collaborating with the symphony and the opera. So there's some like really different, exciting, fun, playful things that are going to be happening. But a lot of it's like an immersive experience. It's more than just to look at. It's to be part of, be inside of, hear the sounds, touch things that are safe to touch, not fire, obviously, but yeah, so it's all about that. We put a lot of energy into thinking about our city as the whole city as kind of like the canvas or the exhibition space.
And it does. It completely makes downtown a completely different shape. And I have a coworker just today that was asking me, oh, well, is this a kid-friendly event? Or I know we speak of dance parties and some people think, okay, that's not my thing, but this does have a good kid aspect. It's take the whole family down to have some of those immersive moments where even us adults can sometimes turn back into children.
Absolutely. It's very totally family friendly. It's 6 to 10 p.m., so it's a little late for the kids at the end, but there's lots of kids out there dancing and playing, and sometimes it's the first time they've seen art of this nature, digital art in particular. So it's really, really family friendly, open to all ages and people who want to come and play.
I know in the past I've seen kind of vendors take to some of the streets, especially near the World Trade Center. Talk to me a little bit about what goes into that and how people are getting involved to keep us all happy and not hungry.
Yeah, so we have food carts and we have official merchandise vendors at World Trade Center, Pioneer Square, and the Electric Blocks. But yeah, we've got lots of food carts. The Glow Bar pop-up will also have food carts, but there's food at all three of those sites. And then lots of local restaurants to pop into as well. We do often reach out to folks in the business community downtown and say, hey, if you can, stay open a little later on these nights. So there's lots of places to get something to eat or drink and warm up here and there as well. So, you can make it happen.
You totally can. And, this is an event that is free to the public, but these type of events don't just happen by magic. A donation, how can maybe people get involved in that regard too? I know in the past I've seen people walk around with buckets and just say, hey, could you do a $5 donation? What does that mean when people are able to give back in that type of way?
Oh, thank you for asking. Honestly, it means a lot. Like this, as you said, this isn't free to produce in any way. We pay our artists and the teams and the things that aren't art, like, bike racks and things like that. That's all part of it, right? So Donations of any size are extremely meaningful to us. We'll have donations teams out with the buckets, the QR codes. We've got a real easy spot to make a donation right on the front of our website as well. And it really, really makes a difference. It's a hard year. It's a complicated time to be a free event. And it really makes a huge difference.
It does. And this is an event, personally, I would love to see just continue for another multiple decades, but because it does bring so much life and light into downtown. I got to ask you personally, what are you most excited about this year? Is there an art piece that you've seen? Just the environment overall? Talk to me about that.
Ooh, that's always a hard
tough
question. It's always like a sneaker thing that I didn't notice on the lists, and then all of a sudden it's my favorite. But there's a piece called Illuminated that will be in a building. I should know exactly where it is, but you'll have to seek it out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It was my favorite last year, by an artist named Todd Moyer. There's going to be really amazing art at Salmon Springs. We're going to put 3 really cool pieces there. We'll have a local artist team creating this giant cuttlefish. It's like this big sculpture with this sort of stained glass. It's all beautifully fabricated. We've got some big electric dandelions coming up from the Bay Area, and then a gorgeous light tunnel coming from Canada. So we have local, national, and international artists all together at that spot. And then there's big projections. We've got 2 international projection artists coming for Electric Blocks and for Pioneer Square. And some really cool and some really exciting pieces at Pioneer Square. We can always have really large works there. So that's fun. And then there's so much. There's some live events as well that are going to be like not to miss.
Performances
Yeah.
too that people can kind of check out throughout downtown.
Yeah, so we'll have our opening night performance at 6 p.m. on Friday the 6th, and that'll be like a big fire show, and it'll kick off the festival. But we also have participatory events. So we have a lantern procession called the Little Luminaries for kids. We have the illuminated bike ride, and things like that. So really fun things. It's really the people who come who are the art too. So we want people to dress up in their light up gear, put it on top of the Gore-Tex, and and come on out. So it's all of that. It's all of that that really brings the magic.
And Alisha, I'm already on the phone with Mother Nature. I'm telling her, hey, come middle of February, let's just have some dry weather. But I got to say, if you dress appropriately and you put the lights on the outside, no matter what the weather is, it's still a really great time. And for our final question, I got to ask, what are some of the future aspects that you all as a team are trying to look forward to?
You like of the festival for future years?
Well, where does it go from here?
Oh, that's a fun question. So I think, we have a secret, not secret quest for like turning February into like art and culture month, or having lots of layers to this thing. We've got big ideas, but really like incrementally growing and connecting with the community and making sure that the art is at the front of all of this. That's really the most important part, because it's all about the people, the creative community and the people who are behind all these amazing pieces.
And you all are doing a fantastic job at that. Again, the latest information, the dates, the times of everything, find that on your guys' website, Instagram page, or all those good spots to check it out.
100%, yes.
Well, perfect. We look forward to it. I hope to run into you there. I would really hope that you and your team have such a fantastic time, because I know I will be enjoying the Portland Winter Light Festival yet again this year.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, Alisha Sullivan, thank you again, the Executive Director of the Portland Winter Light Festival. Again, February 6th through the 14th. We hope to see you all there. That's it for this KOIN Conversation.